guys, what's up? Welcome back. So this is going to be one of my favorite videos that I have filmed for the month so far, and it is all about bronzers. Bronzer is one of my favorite steps when applying makeup. It just gives me that warmth that I want. It just brings everything together in my opinion, and I wanted to pull out all of my bronzers in my collection and show you guys my entire bronzer collection because it has grown. At first, I had like maybe 3-4 bronzers in my collection because there weren't any bronzers for me, but now we have a ton of bronzers. So I wanted this video to be kind of like the one where I did my Fenty collection. So I showed you guys my entire Fenty beauty collection as of that date because it has actually grown ever since that video. But I showed y'all my entire collection. I showed you guys the products that I liked and disliked from Fenty. So I'm gonna do this video kind of like that. The only difference is we're gonna be swatching every single bronzer. So let's get into it. Okay, so I wanted to separate these in separate categories. So I have a stack of drugstore bronzers, and these are the ones that are specifically drugstore, like you can actually go in the store and get these bronzers. I have affordable ones, which you can also go in stores. I have a stack of more so high-end bronzers that you can get from Sephora and Ulta. And then I have another stack of bronzers where you'll actually have to purchase online because I don't think these are sold in store. I'm not entirely sure, but most of these, I know for sure, some of these you do have to purchase online. So let's start out with the drugstore and affordable ones. So the first one I want to talk about is actually one that is discontinued, and that is the Milani pressed powder in the shade Earth Glow. I don't know why they discontinued this, y'all. Do not know why, but this one was my favorite like drugstore affordable bronzer for a long time, and for some reason they just discontinued it. But it's super cheap. I think it was like $5 or $6, and I got this one. I actually purchased this one on Amazon, and this was before I even knew that they put them back on the Milani website. So at that time, they were available on Milani and they were available on Amazon as well. If you can find these on Amazon, eBay, wherever, get this. So let me swatch it for y'all. This is what I would describe a really warm bronzer. And when I say warm, I mean that orange reddish type undertone. So it's not too red though. There's a swatch right there, so you can see it's a very warm bronzer, and it just makes the skin look very what's the word, bronzed. But yeah, this one was definitely one of my favorites. I just hate that they discontinued it. They discontinued this actual shade. They still have some of these powders on their website, they just don't have Earth Glow. Don't know why, but they always want to discontinue things that we need, you know? So this next one is one that I purchased at Walmart a long time ago, but I do know that they still have these because I have seen them inside, you know, inside the store. But it's the one by e.l.f. Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Deep. This is a hidden gem, you guys. It is a hidden gem. It's one of those e.l.f. products that has been around for a long time, but like I said, it's one of those hidden gems that really nobody talks about. So let me show y'all how good this bronzer looks. So look at that, and it's so creamy. It kind of has a lot of kick up once you put your brush in it, but to the touch it is so creamy, and it does have a tiny bit of shimmer in it, but you have to look at it really closely. It's not one of those bronzers where you put it on your face and you can instantly see the glow, but it does have a tiny bit of shimmer in it. But girl, if you can find this in store, this was $3. No, $2. It was definitely $2 or $3, like not even kidding. It's very cheap, and I feel like it's very slept on. So check this out if you're looking for a very cheap bronzer that's under $5 and that actually works. Next, I have the Covergirl Full Spectrum Bronzer in the shade Ebony. Now this is the one that they discontinued, and I never got my hands on the original one, so I don't even know if there's an actual difference between the two. But I will say, I don't know why they discontinued it, because this is a really nice, deep, rich looking bronzer. So y'all can see here, like you can see right here how deep it is. And let me show y'all how This one looks, look at that. Very pretty. Now with the CoverGirl bronzer, this one out of the first two that I showed you, this one I have to use a very light hand with because it's so deep. But once you, girl, it looks so good on the skin. So if you don't want that really dark bronzy, like if you don't want it to look too dark on the skin, just tap your brush in it and lightly brush it around the perimeter of your face and it will look so freaking pretty. So another good one from the drugstore if you're looking for a good affordable bronzer. Okay, this next one is something that I honestly did not know that Target sold, and that is Winky Lux. I saw Winky Lux in Target a few months back and I didn't know that they sold this brand because it's not like your typical drugstore affordable type brand. It's definitely up there. I think I paid maybe like $20 something for this bronzer. I got it off Ulta, but I do know that Target sells this. So if you were wanting to try anything from Winky Lux and you didn't know where to get it, you can get it from Target now. So this is in the shade Espresso, and this is actually very close to the CoverGirl Full Spectrum bronzer. The biggest difference is this has a little bit of a rose gold shimmer in it. Let me kind of shift it so y'all can see what I am talking about. Come on. You probably can't see it. There it goes. But yeah, it has little tiny rose gold particles in it. But yeah, besides that, this color is very close to the CoverGirl Full Spectrum bronzer. So it's pretty deep. Another one of those bronzers where I just lightly tap my brush in it and buff it all over the face, but it is such a pretty deep bronzer, and it's also pretty warm too. I don't know why I just stopped using it. I guess because I have so many bronzers now, I've just been trying out different ones. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice bronzer, don't get me wrong, but I just don't use it as much as I did. And then I have this one by Black Radiance. This one is actually a powder foundation, but I like to use it as a bronzer. Oh, the shade is Ebony, and let me try to open it. All right, so this is how it looks. It did come with like a little brush, but I never use those. And it also has a little bitty mirror in here. But if you are wanting a bronzer, like sometimes you can actually use powder foundations as well, actually all the time. If you want, like if you really want to use it as a bronzer, you definitely can. So this is how this one looks. Now this one is not as warm as my Milani Earth Glow, so you can see that it is definitely a little bit deeper. But just like the CoverGirl and the Winky Lux, I use a light hand when I'm using this one, so that way it won't look too dark or too muddy on my face, but it is a good color as a bronzer. Then we have a contour palette, but I use this as bronzer because the shade in here is actually warm once I apply it on my skin, and this is the medium to dark. No, wrong one. Okay, got the right one. This one is dark to deep. So I don't use medium to dark because this one is more gray, so I can definitely use this as a contour instead of bronzing up my face. But dark to deep, this one has a really pretty shade in here to use as a bronzer, and that's this middle color right here. Look at that. Look at that. So if y'all are on the hunt for a new bronzer, and if you don't have any of these, hopefully, you know, hopefully this video helps. But yeah, this one was dark to deep, and then the medium to dark, I told you guys I don't really use it, but between the two, I like this one better. Okay, the last one that I want to share that's drugstore that you can actually go in store to get is this one by Essence. This is the Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. So there are two shades in this palette that work for me, and that is these two right here. I did a video on this and I demoed this one as well as a couple of the other bronzers that I'm going to show today. But here's the one before the darker shade. It is so weird. It looks so different on my hand than it did on my face. That's so weird. That is so weird. Y'all need to watch that video so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But here is the darker shade in the palette. Right there. I don't know what they did, but when I did the video on this, I applied the lighter shade and it showed up on my face. Girl, I don't know what is in this powder, but it's weird. All right, moving on to the ones that are still affordable, but they're not sold like in CVS, Walmart, Target, no stores like that. So starting out with Morphe. This one is my Morphe Bronzer in the shade Showmance. So this is one of those duos. You have your bronzer shade in here and you have a contour shade in here. Since the contour shade is actually warm, I use that as my bronzer. So I usually just swirl my brush around and just pick up both of the shades and put it on at once. But just so y'all can see both of the shades separately, I will go ahead and swatch them. So this is the contour. Look how pretty that is, very warm. And then this is what's supposed to be the bronzer. This has a little bit of shimmer in it. You can actually use that as a highlighter if you want. But it's really nice if you just swirl your brush around in it and use them both at the same time. So that is Showmance. Then we have the Morphe Glamour Bronzers. These are the ones that I have recently shared with you guys. I have the shade Phenom, and then I have the shade Leader. Leader is the one that I actually have on right now. I have been using this one like crazy, you guys. It's become my favorite. I love the warmth that it gives. Even though I have bronzers that look like this, like I'm gonna show y'all in a little bit, but I don't know, it's just something about this one. It just stole my heart. And then Phenom, this one is the first one that I purchased. So they did extend their shades and I went ahead and just purchased one of their newer ones. But between the two, I like Leader the most because it's more warm, more like that sun-kissed bronzed look. And this one gives me, it warms up my face, but it doesn't give me that extra sun-kissed bronzy look. Like my face is very sun-kissed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, I can't really explain it, but I'll show y'all how they look side by side. So this one is Phenom, and then I'll show y'all what Leader looks like. So we have Phenom right here, and then we have, ooh, I'm messing up my shirt. It's okay, whatever. And then we have Leader right here. So I don't know if y'all can see a difference, but see how warm Leader is? It's more like a red. There you go, that's what it is. It's more red. So if you like those types of bronzers, like if you like that extra warm, like red undertone, but not too red, Leader, this is it. Phenom is still really pretty, but if I had to pick between the two, I would definitely pick Leader. Next, we have one by ColourPop, and I want to say this one is discontinued. Don't know why. Do not know why they discontinued this, but the shade, oh, it doesn't have the shade on the back. What is this? Bits and Pieces. This is another one of those deep, warm shades. Look at that, y'all. Do not know why they would discontinue this shade, but it is really warm, really warm. So also, if I don't know if y'all can see it here, but this is this also has a little bit of sheen too. You just have to look at it really close, but it's like a gold, rose gold sheen. It's really pretty, but it's discontinued, so don't know why they would do that. Then we have this one by Makeup Revolution. This is their matte base powder. Now this is supposedly their powder foundation, but I like to use it as a bronzer. I got shade 14. This is good to use as a powder foundation. I have the shade, I think 13. That's the shade that I use as an all over powder, but if I want more warmth, I would use this shade since it's so deep and warm and it's very smooth and creamy. I mean, it's a powder, but it's really smooth. So here is what 14 looks like. And then I have these face palettes by Makeup Revolution. These are the ones in collaboration with Patricia Bright. So I have Dusk Till Dawn, and then I have You Are Gold. Now there are, like, it's a blush, a bronzer, and a highlighter in here, but this one is Dusk Till Dawn. So You Are Gold. Yeah, this is the one that I like to use as my bronzer because it's not as deep as this color, but let me show you guys both of them. So this one's pretty deep. Let me show you. So this is how You Are Gold looks. So you can see this is like my go-to type of shade as a bronzer. So it's pretty warm. So this is the darker one, and then we have the lighter one, You Are Gold. So there you go. I used to say that I wish that Makeup Revolution would come out with like a single bronzer that is the same color as this one in the You Are Gold palette, and they actually just came out with new bronzers, and I haven't. It is called their Splendor Ultra Matte Bronzer. I already did a video on this one. It was actually recently. I did like a full face of affordable and drugstore makeup. They did so good with these bronzers. This one is actually the fourth, I think the third or fourth before the last. So they have other shades after this color, y'all. And I think they have a total of 6 shades. This one is the shade Dark Girl. Go on Ulta and look at them. Like, you can see how good the range is just by looking at it on Ulta. And I'm so glad that I actually got one that I could use, because honestly I didn't want to purchase or return it. But this is such a pretty warm bronzer. It's very close to the Morphe Leader bronzer, and I showed you guys comparisons in that video. So if I can remember, I'll have that video linked down below. But very close to the Morphe Leader bronzer. It does look a little bit deeper, but it is very close. So definitely one of my newer favorites. Now we're moving on to the ones that you can purchase at Sephora and also Ulta. So the first one is Bobbi Brown. I think this was one of my first high-end bronzers. I have the shade Deep. Now this one is pretty old. I can't even remember the last time I used it, but kind of like the Essence bronzer, you look at it, you feel like it's not gonna work, but once you apply this on your face, it's like it transforms into a darker shade. I don't know, girl, I don't know how they do it, but this was one of my favorite bronzers that I used to use all the time. It's actually a product that I'm almost about to hit pan on. So you can see that I am, dang, y'all can't see that. But I'm almost about to hit pan on this because I would use this all of the time. So let me swatch it so y'all can see it. But can't even remember the last time I like swatched this product. Yeah, it's pretty old. It's even hard to swatch because this was a really pigmented, creamy product. It's a powder, but I can tell right now that this is a really old bronzer because I've had it for a couple of years. But definitely a good high-end bronzer if you are wanting to try anything from Bobbi Brown. Surprisingly, that actually worked for me. So then we have Jouer. This is their new shade, and now they've had these bronzers out for a while, but this year they actually launched a new shade, and it's the deep to dark bronzer duo in the shade Sun Glow and Sun Gaze. I did a video on this one too, so I did like a demo video on I think 4 different bronzers, and this was one of them. So I used both of these shades in that video, and I'm really gonna try my best to remember to link that video down below because I feel like it's very helpful. But the lighter shade is called Sun Glow, and then the darker shade is called Sun Gaze. All right, so the darker shade, look at that. And then the lighter shade, another bronzer where I can actually use both of the shades. So definitely check out that video because like I said, I feel like it's a very helpful video because I'm actually doing face swatches. So here it is up close. Look how pretty and warm that darker shade is. This next one is one of my newer purchase ones and is the Sephora Bronzed Bronzer. This is pretty new too. It's the shade 6. And this is also very similar to the Morphe Leader bronzer. So the one that I have on right now, I just got my nail all in here. And I have already done a video on this one as well, but here is how it looks swatched. Love Love, love, love. And by the way, this is actually the darker one that's on Sephora. So this is the darkest shade, and I'm glad that it works, but I really wish that they had, you know, a more extended shade range, but surprisingly, it works. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer in the shade Mahogany, girl. All right, there is Mahogany. Right there. This next one is the Hoola Toasted Bronzer by Benefit Cosmetics. They took their time, y'all. I don't even know how long the Hoola bronzer was out. I feel like it's been out for ages and ages and ages, but it was just recently when they decided to extend the shades, but they actually did good with this one. And it's hard for me to even put my finger in here without my nail scraping it. It's so hard, y'all. It is so hard. Okay, I feel like I got enough, just enough for y'all so y'all can see what it looks like. But there is the Hoola Toasted Bronzer. And this one's pretty deep too. I know the swatch doesn't really look like it, but it's a pretty deep bronzer. It's pretty warm too. And you can see it in here. You can see how warm it is. Next, I have my Becca bronzer in the shade Maui Nights. This is a color I actually use as a blush instead of a bronzer because I don't like how red it is, even though it's marketed as a bronzer. So I rather have this on on the tops of my cheeks instead of around the perimeter of my face. And this is also another one of those bronzers that has that sheen, that really pretty glow to it, but it is a color that I would prefer to use as a blush. So there it is, and you can see the glow too as I shift my hand. But yeah, so moving on to Fenty Beauty, we have their matte bronzers and then we have their new cream bronzers. I just uploaded my video with my review on the cream bronzers, but let's start out with the matte ones first. I have Cocoa Naughty and then I have Mocha Mommy. So Cocoa Naughty is my most used one. So there's Cocoa Naughty right there. And then we have Mocha Mommy. This one is very, very, very warm. It's more that more of a red warm, but it is so nice on the skin as a bronzer. So I usually gravitate towards Mocha Mommy during the summertime, and then Cocoa Naughty is just that everyday type of bronzer. So if you don't want too much warmth on the skin but you still want warmth, Cocoa Naughty is the perfect shade. Now with the cream, I have the shade Chocolate and I have the shade Toffee Tease. So let's do chocolate first. Why is this so hard to open? There we go. Let's swatch this one on this side. There's Chocolate. And then the last one is Toffee Tease. And I'm gonna put this one over here. All right, so you can definitely see a difference between the matte and the cream. So the cream bronzers are more, I would say more cool tone because they definitely looked like contours. I don't want to give away too much because I've already done a video, and if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely watch the video because I'm doing like face swatches. But the matte bronzers are hands down their best. Okay, since we're on the subject of cream bronzers, I have the Oma Beauty, what do you even call this? It's their Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Stick. This is Bronze Venus. So this has one side with the sculpt side, and then this is the highlight side. I love, 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 y'all. When I say I love this cream bronzer, this took me by surprise. I did a video on this one too. Between this and the Fenty cream bronzer, this right here beats it. Like, girl, this cream bronzer is gonna give you the warmth. Like, it is gonna do what a bronzer is supposed to do. It gives you such a beautiful, warm, glowy look. Girl, I'm gonna swatch it like this on my hand. It is definitely a favorite of mine, and I don't use it as much as I should, but girl, and the way that it blends out, ooh, I gotta find that video. Because I did a demo on this and I was shook, very shook. Girl, look at that. Look at it from far away. It just, mouth watering. Woo, we are almost done. We are almost done. So the last few bronzers I have, I know you can't get out of the stores. So I'm gonna, no, actually no, I just lied to you guys. I have Prime Beauty. I know these are sold at Target, but I do remember sharing these in one of my videos, and I mentioned that the, well, these are sold at Target, and then I had a subscriber tell me that the brand is sold at Target, but they don't have their bronzers at Target. So with that, I have the shade Double Date, and I have the shade Just Got Paid. Out of the two, Just Got Paid is my favorite, but let me show you what Double Date looks like. Look how deep and gorgeous this is. These have a little shimmer in it too. And then when you flip it over, there is a blush. I think this is my favorite blush out of the two, but Just Got Paid. Yeah, Just Got Paid is the one with my favorite bronzer. If I could switch that out, I would definitely do it. I probably can rig it up some type of way. Some type of way. No, I'll probably break it. But anyway, let me swatch this one. Let me swatch. All right. Look at that. Very gorgeous. And the reason why I got both of these is because I did not know what shade would work on me, so I just went ahead and ordered two. And I got these straight off of their website. But that was Double Date, and then Just Got Paid. Look at her. This is so pretty once you apply it on the face. It is so pretty. It may look a little light, but girl, once you apply this on your face, it looks so pretty. Yeah, you probably can't even see the swatch. It actually looks ashy. What is going on? Wait a minute. Why does that look ashy? I promise y'all, it does not look like that when you apply it on the face. Hold on, let me, girl, what is going on? Let me do a little swatchy swatch like this. I don't know what's going on, but there they are right there. Yeah, you could see it right there where I swatched it. My finger is kind of wet with makeup remover, so that's probably what's going on, but those are those two. And out of the two, I like Just Got Paid the most. And I think the reason why I like this one the most is because I can wear this on days when I don't even want that extra warmth to my skin, but it still gives me warmth, if that makes sense. It's not a warm bronzer, but it does give you warmth to your skin. Does that make sense? Like, am I making any sense? I don't know. But kind of like the Fenty Cocoa Naughty. So it bronze, like it warms up your face, but it's not gonna give you that red or that, you know, that red orangey type of bronzed look, but it's still a really good bronzer. So Prime Beauty bronzers, this, well, they call them their bronzers, and this is the shade bronze, I'm getting tongue tied, Bronzeville. Let me tell y'all what happened with me in this bronzer. I dropped it on the floor. It was hard floor in the bathroom, and I knew that it shattered. So I didn't even want to open it up because I already knew. But let me show y'all what happened. I dropped it, right? But look, it only came out. Like, it did not shatter at all. Like, there's no cracks, no nothing. The only thing that broke was the actual pan. So I'll have to just probably super glue that back, but surprisingly it didn't mess up. But anywho, this is how it looks. Let me swatch so y'all can see the gorgeous color. Look at her. Look at her. So pretty and deep and warm and rich. So this next one I have is by Vesca Beauty, and this is how she looks. So let me show y'all a swatch. So you can see that it does look pretty deep, but if you apply just a little bit, like around the perimeter of your face, it does look like it looks pretty warm on the skin. So that's that one. Next I have two bronzer and highlighter duos by Mented. This is the collaboration with Ashley Blaine Featherson. I have season 1 and then I have season 2. Okay, we made it to the last one. Hopefully I didn't miss any bronzers. Hopefully there's not any hidden in my closet or hidden in my drawers. I don't know. If there is, I will definitely leave them in the description. But the last one that I have in front of me is by Alamar Cosmetics. This is the Dark to Rich Face Palette. So this palette has a bronzer, well, it said a deepener, a bronzer, and a brightener. So this middle shade is supposed to be the bronzer, but I like the deepener as my bronzer because it's more warm. I also did a demo on this in a video. I did like swatches and face swatches, but this is the lighter shade in the palette that's supposed to be the bronzer. And then the darker shade that I actually like to use as my bronzer. There you go, right there. Actually, I missed one. I knew this was gonna happen. This is the Beauty Bakery Coffee and Cocoa palette. There's one shade in here that is that can be used as a bronzer, but I actually like using this palette as eyeshadow. But just so y'all can see what it looks like, the shade is Anti-Depresso, and it's more of a bronzy purpley type of color. It has a little bit more shimmer than I would like if I'm using as a bronzer. It's pretty shimmery, pretty glowy, but it is really nice as an eyeshadow. So here it is. Look at how pretty and glowy that is. Very metallic-y. So the palette as a whole is bomb as eyeshadow. There's Deja Brew, there is Your Grounded, which is a gold highlighter shade, and then La Vida Mocha, which is a coral shade that I can use as a blush. I actually can use the bronzer shade in here as a blush too, but I prefer to use it as an eyeshadow palette. So that's the last one. Now before we end this video, I want to share my top 10 bronzers with you guys, and these are the bronzers that I would keep. So if, say, for some reason I had to get rid of my entire bronzer collection and I only could keep 10 of them, these are the 10 that I would keep. So the first one would be the Milani Pressed Powder in the shade Earth Glow, simply because it is not available anymore, and as y'all saw in the video, it's a gorgeous color. And the next one would be the Black Radiance Powder in the shade Ebony, and the reason why I would keep this one is because I feel like it's not often that you come across this color in stores. Like, you would have to probably search for this online. The few times that I've seen these in store, I've never really ran across the shade Ebony, so I definitely want to keep that one. And then I have the Makeup Revolution bronzer in the shade Dark. This is one of their newer ones, and I'm keeping it because it is like, it's everything. The color is perfection, and it's very close to my favorite Morphe bronzer, which is another one that I would keep, and this is the shade Leader. So yeah, I just don't know what else to say about it because it's just that good. Then the next one, now we're moving on to the ones that are not like the affordable drugstore ones, but this next one would be Oma Beauty, like hands down. There's no, like, I didn't even have to think about this. This, like, girl, I'm keeping it. Another no-brainer would be the Fenty matte bronzers. I cannot let these go whatsoever. I have to keep both of these at all times, even though I can probably just do away with one. I need these, so these are not going anywhere. And then of course my lip bar bronzer, this is Just Got Paid, and the reason why I would keep this one is because it also has a blush in it. So It's kind of like a 2-in-1, and plus the colors are gorgeous. And then the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer in the shade Mahogany. I cannot let this go. Like, this is staying with me forever. And then the last one that I would not get rid of if all of my bronzers were to like disappear would be the Sephora bronzer in the shade number 6. Y'all, very beautiful, very close to my Morphe Leader bronzer, which is why I love it. And I just could not get rid of it because it's so cute. And Sephora, like, it's not often that Sephora comes out with bronzers that work for me. Whew, we are done. We're done. So this video, I already know is gonna be a pain to edit, but I'm so glad that I showed you guys my entire bronzer collection as of right now, because y'all know if there's any bronzers that launch, I want to try it out, especially if it looks like I can actually use it. So as of right now, this is my entire bronzer collection. If I shared any bronzers that you guys own, that you guys like, that you guys dislike, let's talk about it. And also, if there's any bronzers that you guys own that I did not share, I need to know. So leave it in the comments, especially if it's people of color friendly. We need to know. So let us know in the comments. But that is all, y'all. That is all that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you thumbs it up. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.